Hey guys! So today's video is going to be another one of my makeup collection and storage videos. As you guys know, I've been showing you like little pieces of my makeup collection. We've done foundations, primers, eyeshadow palettes. We've done a few and I like doing them this way because I get to talk about each individual product and I find that to be more helpful than showing you like my entire collection. When I am done showing you everything, I will do an overview of the room. I'm still figuring out what to do with this room. There's so many things in here that I'm not happy with. There's something about this room or the way it's set up, something that there's something missing. I need to change it up. And every day I'm slowly doing that little by little, making little changes here. And then once I'm comfortable with it, I will be showing you an entire overview. Anyway, today we are going to be taking a look at all of my powders. Loose powders, pressed powders, translucent powders, foundation powders, all of that stuff. We will go through my powder drawer and I'll show you everything, give you my thoughts on all. I have a lot of powders considering I don't love powder. I have dry skin, so I am very picky with my powders, but somehow I have so many, I don't know. Anyway, if you want to see all of my powders, then, you know, just keep watching. Okay, so you're familiar with these drawers. I told you guys in a previous video the story of why this is really white and why this is kind of like an off-white, but that has nothing to do with this video. I just wanted to let you know that this one is my foundation drawer. This one is where I kept all my primers. You've been there, but now we are diving into the one at the bottom. So this is the drawer I keep all my face powders in. Well, I keep my setting sprays in this drawer as well. I want to make a lot of changes to my beauty room soon, but for now, this is how I keep my setting sprays and my powders. And honestly, I don't know why I have so many damn setting sprays back there because I really only use this one now. So, I mean, I don't know. I need to go through that. I need to get rid of a couple of those. Oh my gosh, but a lot of them are so good. So this is where I keep my powders. I keep them in these little acrylic organizers that I got from By Allegory. You can get By Allegory on Amazon or off the By Allegory website. And most of them fit in here. For the most part, you know, these little compacts will fit here. But sometimes you'll get compacts like this or like this that don't really fit. So those I keep off to the side, and especially like loose powders that obviously don't fit in this. I have dog hair all over the place. Like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Can you see this? The first powder is the NYX HD Finishing Powder in the shade Banana. Surprisingly, I actually really like this. Most of the time, I don't like these banana powders. I didn't like the Banana one. It was just way too dark for my skin tone. And usually, most of these banana shades they're just too yellow for me, but this one isn't. I think it brightens up the under eye, and it does set the under eye really nicely. It's not too powdery, and it's not too much. I thought it would be at first, but if you apply a light hand, this could look really nice underneath the eye. This one has recently become a new favorite of mine. It's so dirty. I use it all the time. This is the e.l.f. Finishing Powder in the shade Fair/Light. I love this. If you are looking for a really great powder at the drugstore that isn't going to emphasize any dry skin, but is just going to lightly set your makeup and give you a very soft look, you need this powder in your life. It's perfect for my dry skin. And it just looks beautiful on my skin. I really love it. So lightweight. Just makes my skin look so soft and smooth. It's not a blurring powder, but sometimes I feel like it blurs my makeup. I just love the formula. It's so buttery and it looks so pretty on the skin. So I've been loving this a lot. This is an old favorite of mine. This is the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 135 Creamy Natural. If you've been on my channel for a long time, you definitely have seen this before. I used to use it all the time to set underneath my eyes. It's such a creamy, silky powder, and there's kind of like a very slight, very slight sheen to it that just brightens the under eyes so nicely. I think this shade is actually discontinued. I had to buy mine on Amazon because I couldn't find it in store anymore, which totally sucks. This is a powder I thought I was absolutely gonna hate. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder. I bought this because it's waterproof and I had wanted to do a full waterproof makeup tutorial and test it out in my mom's pool. I was gonna do the whole tutorial and dive right in and we were gonna test that, but then summer came and left and I never did it, but I am thinking of doing that once the spring and summer come around. But anyway, that's why I bought this powder, but I actually really like it. I thought I was gonna hate it because it says it's mattifying and it's waterproof and I thought it was gonna be cakey and gross, but the powder is so finely milled that when you put it on your face, it doesn't apply too much. And even though I don't like matte skin, sometimes I'll go overboard with the dewiness and I need to tone it down, and this is always the powder I grab when I need to do that. This is the Too Faced Cocoa Powder Foundation, and this is the shade Light Medium. I have to say I don't really have an opinion on this because I've had this for weeks now and I haven't even used this. I always mean to. In the back of my head, I'm always like, oh my gosh, I still haven't used that Too Faced powder foundation, but I need to try it. I definitely need to try it. I haven't heard anybody really talk about this. That makes me feel like it's not gonna be very good, but I will be testing it soon. Remind me, guys, remind me. Same goes for this next powder. This is the LA Girl Pro Face HD Matte Press Powder. I guess I haven't tried it because it says matte, and every time I grab a powder, I usually just grab something else. But leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this. I am obsessed with their Pro Foundation. Their new HD foundation is amazing. I absolutely love it, but I just haven't tried this out. But have you? Is it really good? Let me know. This next powder is the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Powder. I love the packaging of this powder. It's so beautiful. This is not the kind of powder you grab if you just want to like set your makeup. This is one of those powders that's really gonna blur out the skin. It's just gonna fill in your pores. So I do really like this, but I don't like it as much as my IT Cosmetics one. I have one from IT Cosmetics that does this, and it's way better. This one just kind of deposits a little bit too much product for me. The IT Cosmetics one is a little bit lighter on the skin, so I don't really use this one. I keep it for like comparison videos in the future or something. I don't know why I keep it, honestly, but yeah, it's good. I just don't love it as much as this guy. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Airbrush Silk Pressed Finishing Powder, and I'm obsessed with this. I think this is my like third powder of these, which is crazy because I don't really go through powders all that much. This is hands down my absolute favorite powder when it comes to these pore minimizing powders, the ones that blur the skin. You see how much like less product comes off here? It's not as heavy as a Too Faced one. This blurs my pores. It's amazing. I love it so much. Definitely my favorite. I just, the best. Next up is the Milani Prep Set and Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder. This stuff is really good, but I only like using this as a light dusting on the face. If I apply too much of this, it will start to look heavy on my skin. But if I just take a big fluffy brush and just swipe this on my entire face after I've already powdered my face down, this gives me such a beautiful, soft glow. Like a barely there glow, but it's very, very nice. And I love that it's from the drugstore, so this is good stuff. I'm in love with this. I am in love with this. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Press Powder, and I'm in the shade Warm Light, and I'm obsessed with this. This is probably my favorite face powder from the drugstore. I feel like it sets my foundation down so beautifully without looking heavy. It makes my dry skin look beautiful. I love it. I don't think it's chalky or, I don't know. Some drugstore powders are a little chalky. This one is very smooth and very creamy. I like it. This next one is Big Daddy. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Compact Dual Use Powder Compact. This is the Luminous Silk Foundation in a powder form, and I truly, truly love this. I wish I hated it because it is a very pricey powder foundation. I paid a lot of money for this. But oh my gosh, I can apply pounds and pounds and pounds of this powder to my face and it never ever looks cakey. It never looks dry or cracked or like I'm wearing a ton of powder. This looks absolutely beautiful. I am not a huge fan of the Luminous Silk Foundation, as you know, but for me the powder was a true winner. I never really used this on its own. I don't think it has like enough coverage for me to use by itself, but it looks stunning on top of a foundation just to add a hair more coverage. And it's so silky and so smooth, and it really does look beautiful on the skin. I can't deny it. This next powder I think is as close as it gets to the Luminous Silk powder I just showed you. This one is very similar, and before I bought the Luminous Silk one, this was my holy grail high-end powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in the shade Medium. One thing I gotta say, the color selection sucks. I think she only has like 3 colors, which is ridiculous, but when you like rub your fingers over this powder, it feels like butter, like the creamiest formula in the entire world. It looks so beautiful on the skin. Everything I said about the Luminous Silk one, I have to say about this. The only difference to me is that I could really pack on the Luminous Silk powder and I don't think it looks bad. And I mean, I could do the same for this one too, honestly. I don't know. They're both really, really amazing, honestly. This next powder is from H&M. They have their own makeup line, and this is the Perfectionist Finishing Powder in the shade Porcelain. Honestly, I really like this. I've used it a ton. I keep it because it is extremely brightening. I keep it mainly for the shade. I love this shade. So bright, and sometimes when I use a concealer that's a little bit too dark for me underneath my eyes, or I just want to really kick the brightness up, I always open this drawer and reach for this powder because it always just like instantly brightens my under eyes. Not like in a luminous way, in like a literally it looks brighter kind of way. I don't use this on my entire face just because I prefer formulas of other ones. This is just for like my under eyes for a kick. The NARS Crystal Powder in the shade Translucent is really nice. Oh my gosh. Why was that so hard to open? It is their pressed version of their light reflecting powder, and mine has like scratches all up in it because when I first got it, I like scraped the crap out of it because I really had to learn to love this. This powder is very weird. When you swatch it, like look at this. I'm going ham on this. And look, like barely anything comes off on my fingers. Just like a really light veil of powder comes off. This is so great to set underneath the eyes without adding too much product, but it still gives you a light reflecting look. I just get a brush like this. This is the Real Technique setting powder. I go like this. I like really get all up in there, and then I set my under eyes like that. And I think it's really nice. It will give you a white cast in photos if you apply too much, so just be careful with that. I saw this the other day on the Sephora website and I purchased it. This is the Cover FX Perfect Press Powder in the shade Light. I have not used this yet, but I'm really excited to use it because I love Cover FX products. Rarely do I come across a Cover FX product I don't like, so I really am excited to try this. It feels so creamy. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. And then the last powder in my little allegory section is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Transforming Powder. This is in the shade Warm Nude, and this is obviously too dark for my skin tone right now. This is my summer shade, and I only used it once in the summer, and I really don't remember how I felt about it. So I'm just waiting until I have like a self tan on, or I have a little bit more color in the summer to try this out again, because I've heard so many rave reviews on this powder. People love it. I don't really like the packaging. It's a little like bulky to me, but I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I cannot wait to try it out. Okay, so now we're gonna make our way to this side. Let's talk about all of the loose powders first. I've gotta be honest, I don't really love loose powder. It's just a little bit too messy for me, but these that I've discovered I really like, and I take the mess because I think it's worth it. This is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I'm in the shade Translucent Light. I love this. I have been using it so much recently. It's like the only powder I've been using, honestly. I love it way more than the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. When I first got the Laura Mercier one, I really liked it in the beginning, but I think that my skin got a little drier or something that I don't really love it. I think this one is better, and I really like it. I have been using it to set my entire face, to set underneath my eyes. It gives your skin like a very soft satin look. It doesn't mattify too much. I don't know, I really love it. I have a mini little version of the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I used to have the big one, but I gave it away to a friend who really liked it. So now I keep this, and honestly, I never reach for this. In my opinion, I have just found other loose powders that I like more. It's just, sometimes it looks a little too heavy on my dry skin. I don't know, it's not my absolute favorite. I used to love it, but I don't know. The RCMA No Color Powder is my favorite loose powder of all time. The only thing that sucks is the packaging. It's like this, it's in this oregano bottle. Like, I don't understand. I keep my spices in these kinds of bottles. No offense to this packaging, it's just hard to use sometimes, you know? Besides the packaging, I think this powder is amazing. Truly amazing. It is undetectable on my skin. I can put this all over the place and it just never looks heavy. It doesn't look like powder on the face. It's so incredibly silky. It's so smooth. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's only like $12. It's so affordable, and you get like a million pounds of product. The RMS Beauty Unpowder is really amazing if you want to blur the skin. This is one of those powders that's just like straight silica. Like the Makeup Forever one, their famous HD powder, it's pretty much the same. These powders are incredible. They feel amazing on the skin, and they blur the skin. They kind of like fill in the pores. It just makes your skin look porcelain. Silica tends to just like bounce back in flash photography. So I only use this during the day when I'm not taking photos, and I love it. I think it smooths out the skin so nicely. The NYC Smooth Skin Loose Face Powder in Translucent is a powder I think more people need to buy. The packaging sucks because like when you open it, powder flies everywhere. It's like not the best, but the product inside is so lovely. I love this powder. I don't hear that many people talking about it. I actually think it's very comparable to the Laura Mercier loose powder in the sense where if I do use too much, it will look a little bit heavy. I think if you have oily skin, you will really like this powder, especially if you are looking for one at the drugstore. This was only a few dollars, and you get so much product, and it mattifies the skin really nicely, holds my makeup in place for a really long time. The only thing for me is that I can't use too much because it will look a little cakey, but I love it and I use it all the time. It's really good. And then the last loose face powder I have is this one by Kojendo. This is the Natural Lighting Powder. You guys saw me test this out in a recent first impressions video, and I didn't like it in that video, or I didn't like it immediately. But the more I use it, the more I think I like it. It has like this bone color to it, so it's not completely transparent. And I like that because I don't feel like it makes my foundation any lighter. But I It first threw me off because it has these tiny little specks of shimmer in it. Very tiny, very microscopic, but it's all over the place. Let me see if I can show you on my skin. Can you tell when I move my hand around, there's like a soft, luminous sheen to it. It is so beautiful. At first I didn't like it. I thought it was too much, but when you apply a light layer of this, it looks beautiful on top of really matte foundations because it just gives it a little bit of something. I'm still playing around with it. I don't know if I absolutely love it, but so far I think I really do like it. Okay, so now I have these powders. These are mainly Hourglass powders. Those powders I go in kind of like at the end of my makeup to give me a light dusting, to give my face a little bit of a sheen. The only one I don't keep in here is the Hourglass powder in Luminous Light because to me that's a highlight. So I keep it with my highlighters. This is the Ambient Lighting powder in Radiant Light. To me this is kind of like a bronzer almost, but not really. I mean, I only really use this one in the summer when I'm a little bit more tan because right now it's just a little bit too pigmented to go all over my entire face. But I love dusting this on my cheeks or all the places where I bronze. It just gives my skin a nice luminous glow. I just love it. I love it, especially in the summertime. And then I have this one in the shade Ethereal Light, and this is what I use a lot of the times to brighten my under eye. Kind of in the same way I use the H&M one, but I use the H&M one whenever I want a matte brightness to the under eye, but when I want a brightness that has a little bit of a luminous sheen to it, I will always grab this powder. It's so brightening, but the sheen in it is so beautiful. Especially if you're extremely fair, you might like this on your entire face. Like if you're very, very, very fair, you might like this all over the place to give your whole face a nice glow. But it's really subtle and it's gorgeous, and I love this one. And then I have this one, which I created myself. You can go on the Hourglass website and create a trio like this with all the powders you like. And I have Luminous Light, Diffuse Light, and Ethereal Light. I mix these two all the time on my under eyes, and then I'll just use Luminous Light as a highlight like I said. So I love this little trio. I take it with me to travel all the time, and I keep it in this drawer. Next up, we have this ridiculously priced foundation powder. This is the Cellular Treatment Foundation, and this is from the brand La Prairie, which is a really, really pricey brand. I purchased this because I saw Tati's video when she used it, and it literally looked flawless on her face. It was kind of like magic. Immediately when she applied it, her skin looked incredible. It blew me away, honestly. So I immediately wanted it, and then I think I saw Casey Holmes do a video on it and she loved it too, so I just purchased it thinking I was gonna absolutely love it, but I kind of don't. The magic it does on them, it doesn't really do it on my skin. I don't know if it's because I have dry skin. I don't know. It just didn't wow me. It's a nice powder, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful, but I don't think it's worth the money. That's really the problem there. So incredibly pricey that I don't think it's worth it. You can find a ton of other powder foundations for a little bit less or a lot less that can give you a little more, I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It looked amazing on Tati, and honestly I could understand why she thinks it's worth the money because it makes her skin look awesome. But for me, it was like a okay powder. This is another powder I use in the same way I use my Hourglass ones. This is the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder, and this is in the shade number 1, and it's exactly what it says. It's a sheer perfecting powder. This one has a little bit more luminosity than the Hourglass ones. Like this one is just slightly more pearlescent, but it's a similar vibe, and I use this one on my entire face. Like I said, Ethereal Light by Hourglass is just a little bit too light to put all over my face, so I like dusting this one on my face, kind of like the same way I use my Milani one, but this one is just even more glowy. And then the last powder is actually my newest one. I just purchased this off of the Makeup Forever website. I went on their website to buy more of their like tin metal palettes to put my eyeshadows in, and then I stumbled across this. This is the Ultra HD powder. It's the same type of powder as I was explaining before. They're like famous loose HD powder, but now they came out with a pressed version, which I was really excited about. Oh my god, this feels incredible. This is like, you know, that typical silica powder, but it feels so awesome on the skin. These powders are undeniably amazing, just not in photography, but for like daily use, I mean, it's incredible. I love these kinds of powders. I haven't used this one yet on my face, but I have used their HD powder in the past. In my opinion, I prefer a powder like this, one that's the color of my skin. It's just gonna set my face. I'm not gonna worry about it in flash photography. It's always gonna look good, but sometimes these powders are nice too. So yeah, and yeah, okay. Okay guys, so that completes this video. These were all of my powders and my opinions and my thoughts on them. I have a little request from you guys. If you have dry skin, please leave me a comment down below with your favorite powder foundation from the drugstore. I am on a hunt. But besides that, leave me a comment down below what you want my next makeup collection video to be about, and then I will get to that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. I really like it. it. It's really good. I hope you guys don't mind the background noise.